Hello.
Welcome.
It's been a minute.
Welcome.
We're all
It
not
has been a
sick
minute.
anymore.
Yeah, we're all cured of the COVID.
Good.
The COVID got us.
Yeah.
It came for our throats, but we're here. We're
Got
still
that out of our system now.
Yeah, we
Ready
made it.
to go.
Sort of. We made it, kind of ish.
Yeah.
You still have no scent?
I can smell a little bit.
Oh, okay, she can
candles.
smell a little bit.
We went candle
good.
shopping, so that was a good
Yes.
test.
Anyways, thank you so much to everybody who's already joining us. This is going to be the Book Troop live show for the month of July, where we read The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Ooh! All three of us read this copy.
Mhm.
This copy went through boom, 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 all three of us. So yeah, that is so exciting. I'm already seeing some friends in the chat. What's up, EK?
Hey,
how's it going?
How's it going? You stayed up for us.
Oh my
That
gosh,
was nice.
thank you. You're too kind.
Yeah.
Too kind. Hi, Elizabeth. Elizabeth's here. So we are going to at the beginning of this, it's going to be spoiler free. So if you have not read it, no worries. You can hang out for a little bit and we will warn you before we jump into spoilers. However, I would love to know if you have read this book and you joined along with us, maybe you can put a yellow heart in the chat so I can get a visual. And then if you have not yet read it and you're just here to hang out, maybe you can do a blue heart just so I can get a visual of who's all here because they've read it and who's here just for hangs, you know what I'm saying? And then hello, Hannah. Oh my gosh, I have so many.
Ooh, that's
awesome
all
friends.
yellow.
Wow, boom, yellow hearts. Okay,
Woo!
that's
That's
cool.
what we're talking about.
And then while they're doing that, I asked Rachel if she wouldn't mind giving us a synopsis, like a spoiler-free synopsis for anybody who's here because they haven't read it. Just so you can know what the general book is about, get a general idea. So
Hit it, Rach.
yeah, would you like to kick us off?
Or
you could do a dramatic reading of the She's done that in the past. It was Anyways, go ahead.
So we follow this woman who is dealing with a lot in her life. Her husband died unexpectedly. She's a young widow. She gets put into this house on the lake, obviously, where she can kind of escape and kind of rethink about her life and everything that's happened or whatever to kind of just deal with her trauma. When her neighbor moves next door, and she's this beautiful, I guess, supermodel, or was a supermodel, and she ends up going missing.
Ooh.
That's pretty much the plot.
The supermodel goes missing.
But yes, the supermodel goes missing. And Casey's like, bitch, what the fuck? And then there's the story. That's the plot. And then it moves from there. There's obviously a lot going on, but that's the spoiler, less spoiler version.
Synopsis of the book. I think it's little bourbons.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's
You're
true.
not wrong. Definitely
Yeah,
not
I know
wrong.
what you're saying there. I feel
All
you.
right, sweet. Thank you, Kenzie. All right, well, cool. That was perfect synopsis.
Thank you.
Riley Sager. This is. I think both of you have read how many Riley Sagers now? Because I think both of you have read a good number of his books, right?
Yeah,
I read 4.
Yeah, I think the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. So we'll jump into our rankings of where this ranks for us on Riley Sager after. But yeah, so now we will be getting into the ratings. So I think the great thing about this live show is that we feel differently about it, and I think it's going to make for a very interesting conversation, hopefully. But yeah, so we're going to be revealing our ratings, and so while we're doing that and talking about our ratings, I would love if you would put in the chat what you rated this book out of 5 stars. How did you enjoy it? Please give me a anything out of 5 rating. And let me know. And so while we're doing that, why don't you kick us off with what did you rate this book and why did you rate it that way? Just brief.
Okay.
Let's just go.
So I did rate it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. It felt like it always had me guessing what was happening. I had a lot of series, but they were not right. And I don't know. I liked it. It was a good, fast-paced to be Riley Sager book, like usual.
He's easy to read.
And I liked it a lot.
Mhm.
I actually liked Casey, so everyone can fuck off, you know.
Ooh.
I liked her because,
Okay.
dude, she dealt with a lot of shit. Of course
Yeah.
she's gonna drink.
She's
I don't think
ninja.
anybody can relate to that situation. And I'm not gonna get into the spoilers,
Yeah.
but once we get into the spoilers, you
You're gonna see
understand
why.
why. So yeah. What's your
Okay.
rating?
Yeah, go ahead, Mom. What did you rate it?
At first, I did a 4.5, but then we started kind of talking about Rachel and I and stuff, and I'm for sure a solid 4.
Solid 4.
Mm-hmm.
And why did you give it 4?
Because for one, I did really love it, but I know his other books and styles and stuff, and there's a couple of things that didn't really meet my expectations,
Okay.
and some of it felt like it was falling short of where you thought it should go. But I'm not the writer; I'm the reader. So anyway, it's a pretty high score for me, and Riley's always up in the 4s anyway. So
I feel like this is a lot more mixed, to be honest, than I was expecting it to, because it seems like we have so many people that are rating it on the higher side, like mid, and then like lower. So like I feel like this is a really divisive.
It's a great opportunity.
Book.
Yeah,
I feel like, especially when it comes to Riley Sager, I feel like he's usually like one or the other, and I feel like this one's really like across the board.
I'm interested to see too the ones that really liked it. How seasoned of a reader are they? Because I'm always noticing that the ones that have been reading the most thrillers and that kind of stuff, they have read a lot of these kind of styles or whatever, and so you're onto it more than we are.
Rachel chose violence.
I did. I'm sorry.
You did.
I'm ready.
She's already defensive because she knows how I feel about it.
She speaks for both of us when it's that way. Yeah.
So my rating is I think it's a solid 2-star for me. I think that this is definitely my least favorite Riley Sager that I've read so far.
That was Survive the Night right there.
No, see, the difference for me is that with Survive the Night, it was ridiculous, but at least I had fun reading it. You know, with this book, I was like bored to tears at times. Like some parts were so boring. And then I thought after the big reveal, which is around like, not to get into spoilers, but like there's still a decent chunk of the book left after the reveals, and then after it just really like, it's not so much that I didn't like the plot twist, because like the plot twist was like whatever. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it was fine. But then the second part of the plot twist actually did kind of surprise me a little bit. But then the issue that I had with the end of this book was the way it just fell apart at the end. Oh my gosh. I felt like every cliche, like tropey thing was just thrown in at the end, and it was just so like, okay, I'm ready for this to end. Like literally what? And then also like I wasn't a huge fan of the main character, and I think a main part of why that is for me is because I listened to the audiobook. I don't know if any of you in the chat listened to the audiobook.
That shouldn't be a reason.
But what the hell was that?
That seems like that's a big reason for you.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
No, but it's
because
true. Like,
because they said that
doesn't take away from the story though.
Well, they were saying that the lady that narrated it was like an old smoker kind
of
like
she had the most like
and we
old
thought
lady
she was
voice.
young.
Yeah, like, and reading this, it felt like she should have read like she was like in her 30s or maybe 40s, but like the audiobook, it was a garbage fire. It literally made her sound so much older.
Right.
So then stop listening to it and read it.
No, but like at the end of the day, that didn't like that wasn't the reason why I didn't enjoy this book. It just contributed to why I didn't enjoy it.
No wonder you didn't like Casey then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, I didn't even start the audiobook until a little bit into it. So I had read some of the book without it. So like I knew that I didn't like this book even without
she just didn't like it.
The narrator. She did sound like a 90-year-old woman on crack who smokes 3 packs a day.
And then I was surprised because we were talking about that, and I go, why would they do that? Because we never talked about how old she was, but I'm thinking she's
I thought she was
30.
Like 31.
Yeah, early 30s.
Yeah. So if you're here and you have not yet read the book and you're considering reading the book, do not listen to the audiobook, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, the audiobook kind of ruined some of the experience. So definitely don't check out the audiobook. And I think that's such a shame because, to be honest, I don't really know how audiobooks work, and I don't know if the author has any say over who narrates their audiobooks.
Think they do.
Like, I don't know.
They have
but like, that's a freaking shame if he doesn't, because it's kind of a bummer of how
that's a good question.
Some people are going to be.
You have to pay big money when you're a big time writer. You pay good money because that's some people read it that way.
Interesting. Apparently, she's multi-award winning narrator.
Maybe
Well,
not for
I know, maybe
George.
not for this book.
Yeah.
I just think she wasn't the best choice for this book in particular. Rachel mad as hell. For real. We've been talking about it for a while, so I'm glad to finally like have this live show to kind of flesh out our thoughts. But so okay, so before we jump into spoilers, because both of you have read some Riley Sager, and if I know a lot of people in the chat have probably also read quite a bit of Riley Sager, so I would love to know, how this ranks for you, at least in comparison to other Riley Sager. Like, are there others that are still topping this one, or like where does this one rank for you in his list?
I think that Lock Every Door is higher, and Home Before Dark is a lot higher.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like this is like my third favorite.
Yeah.
Is this your third from him or your fourth?
We've read 4. I
Oh,
think.
you read Survive the Night.
Yeah.
So Survive
the Night is like 1 star.
Yeah.
And then the other
Yeah.
the other 3, like this one's third, but it's 4, and then the other 2 are 5.
Yeah, Survive the Night, I think, was the same experience that I was with this book, because I had it rated higher, and then after kind of going through this process of live show, I started seeing all these other thoughts, and I'm like, what was I thinking?
Mm-hmm.
So
well, how does this one rank for you? Because you've also read The Last Time I Lied.
Yeah.
So like, where does this one rank higher than that one, or lower?
I think Riley's like an even like 4 or 4 or 5, for me.
Yeah, because she enjoyed Survive the Night too. So how do you feel? Like, do you like this one more than Survive the Night, or is it like
I think
the same?
Yeah, I hate to say that they're the same, but I mean, I felt the same from them.
Okay. All
But,
right. Interesting. Yeah, I think Home Before Dark and Lock Every Door are definitely my top 2.
Okay.
Like, Lock Every Door is my god tier.
Oh,
like,
that one's amazing.
That one was probably always going to be my favorite, just because the vibes, like the New York City vibes, the freaking
Really, I think
spooky.
Home Before Dark's the best.
Yeah, okay, she's Home Before Dark number 1.
That
I'm
was
Lock
too.
Every
I
Door.
like spooky vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Lock Every Door has the spooky vibes too. I feel like
It does, but it's different.
His best books have the kind of like spooky things going on that I love. And then yeah, Survive the Night is ranked pretty low for me, but I think this one's just a little bit lower, which is a shame, because it is his 2 most recently published books, so it's kind of a bummer.
Maybe it's because they're so close together. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you don't know what's going on the other side, that they maybe rush it through. Who knows? That's kind of a sad thing, but he had to meet his quota or something.
Yeah, Home Before Dark is very solid, so I would love to see him write something more in like that kind of ballpark in the future. Like, I want to see him write kind of like haunted house kind of thriller stuff in the future, because
a lot of these have had houses, cabins, lakes,
I
mountains.
agree, Rachel. I think Rachel would love
I know,
Last Time I Lied. I'm
started
trying to
it.
get her to read that one next, because I was like, if you like the kind of like spooky kind of vibes of Riley Sager, I think that's The Last Time I Lied is so good. And if you're if this is your first year participating in the book troop, you might not know, but last year all 3 of us actually read Survive the Night for the book troop last year. So we do have I have a live show on my channel, if you're curious, from last year, where we all read Survive the Night and did a live show just like this. So anyways, I think, do you have anything else you guys want to talk about before we jump into spoilers? Is there anything else? Something that I thought was really great about the books, that we started with a Taylor Swift quote.
Nobody know crime.
Yeah, because if you didn't know, Riley Sager is actually like a huge Swiftie, which
that cute?
automatically gives him 10 extra points.
So he's like,
and so the book starts with, I think he did it, but I just can't prove it. Taylor Swift, Nobody No Crime.
Yeah,
I wonder if that just like inspired him to write this book.
I know, I'm almost like, did this song
I think
inspire him to like write this whole book?
Because the timing makes sense when it came out.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I would agree with Elizabeth. I feel like he's more interested in shock value lately than making the plot make sense, but I also think he probably feels pressure. I mean, that's another thing too that we could talk about, is how I do think authors are, they're under contract probably to release one book every year, and I think he's probably like, oh fuck, like just kind of like throwing some things together sometimes, and I think it kind of sucks that authors probably do feel this pressure to put out stuff instead of putting out quality stuff that they're, I mean, I don't know, maybe that's not the case, but that's just a thought, yeah. It's a great Taylor Swift song. I can see how it would inspire so many things. Like, I hope that he's inspired by future Taylor music, like that would just be a cool thing to happen. So love that. Also wonder if Taylor Swift would read this and if she even knows about that.
She's busy right now with the other the crawfish.
I know, I love that he's a Swiftie. Like,
Mhm.
honestly, it just makes me adore him even more.
Mhm.
So, anyways,
You know his audience,
mhm.
who he's looking, yeah.
Anyways. Okay, so I think with that being said, I think we are going to jump into spoilers just because we're already coming up on 15 minutes and there are so many things to talk about with this book with spoilers. So if you have not read it or you don't want to be spoiled, this is where we say goodbye, adios, because we're going to be talking about spoilers and spoiling the crap out of this book. So you've been warned, spoilers are ahead.
She got
Okay,
notes.
Cool. We have notes. We're gonna just jump right in. All right. Okay.
You've been warned.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, so I guess. Okay, the first question I have is so the big twist. There's a big twist in this book.
Correct.
There's big
Yeah.
twist. Okay, there's
That
big
was
twist. I
huge.
feel like it's a two-parter, right? It's a two-parter
Yeah,
twist.
I know.
One part, and then there's a follow-up part. That's shocking. So, I guess my question is, how did you feel about the twist? Did you think it was shocking? Did you see it coming? Just general thought. Like, is the twist the reason you enjoyed the book so much because you were floored, like shocked?
Okay. Shocked.
Thoughts?
Shocked. Shook. That Len was the killer.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Her husband was the killer. Shocked.
Totally.
Okay. And then 2, I think I was so fucking like, what? When they said that Len was possessing Caitlin.
Yeah, that's
Or,
my.
what's her name?
Catherine.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
I know
did not
that
expect
was. I underlined
So
it.
you enjoyed
just
both
going,
parts
oh my
of
gosh.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because I think it literally pulled the rug from under me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Totally.
Mhm.
See.
And I was a big Catherine lover.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But
I
it
was
was
like,
weird in the very beginning how she was acting all, in the lake
Mhm.
and everything. It was that got me suspense right there.
mhm.
That was the
Mhm.
hook that got me. Okay, what the heck,
See, I think this twist was so risky because I know some people really don't like, a paranormal twist that seemingly comes out of nowhere. Like I see that a lot of readers are like, I would have liked it to be hinted at a little bit more, or.
But they did do that ghost story in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
There was a foreshadow. And I was also surprised that Casey killed Len.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty
okay. Yeah, that
shocking.
was like
that
part
was
3 of the
amazing.
twist for
That
me.
was huge rush for me. I'm just going.
So I feel like essentially there was 3 plot twists.
Mhm.
But then that's where she found out that connection that it wasn't really. Oh, it was just, and then that whole thing about how the lake was going to transform, the evil into the next person.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I know. I personally I wasn't the biggest fan of the first twist that was revealed, which is that Len is possessing Catherine. I was like, I just wasn't that surprised by it because I had made similar predictions in my notes. Because the first prediction I wrote was on page 30. I put Casey and her mom are the same person or Casey is dead, which I don't know why I was thinking that, but I thought she was trapped at this lake house. I thought she had died with Len. And that she was stuck at the lake house somehow, and that she was dead. So that was my first thought.
Mhm.
And then my second prediction I wrote on page 68. I said Casey is possessed by Len's body after he died. So I thought Casey was possessed by Len
Wrong.
because they said people used to cover all the mirrors after someone died. Any reflective surface was capable of capturing a soul. Like they literally wrote that, and then I was like, oh, well
So
then
that's
I was
leading
like,
to
if
maybe
Len died
something-
there, then I was like, something's going on with Len. And then it said, people who are trapped in the lake can possess the body of anyone who looks in the reflection. They literally
That part
wrote that. And so I was
part.
like, okay,
Yeah.
so I was thinking Casey's possessed by Len's body after he died. I mean, I was wrong, but I was kind of onto him, And then the other prediction that I wrote was on page 122. I wrote Catherine killed Tom, or Tom killed Catherine, and now she's possessing his body. So my brain was just all over the place, but possession was in my mind.
Yeah, that was-
I was
sounds like
thinking
your
it was
theory.
coming.
So how are you
So-
not shocked that it was Len possessing Catherine?
Well, because see, I just thought something like that was up, but
you didn't.
But I was surprised by the twist that Len was actually a serial killer and that she, Casey herself, had actually killed Len. I didn't see that part of it coming,
No,
and I
not
actually
either.
did I didn't mind that. I liked that part of the twist. But then I feel like after that gets revealed, literally the story just falls apart for me because right after that happens, there's this whole thing of Casey and Catherine swapping Len to her body because she doesn't want to have to kill Catherine to kill Len.
Mhm.
And then there's that whole awkward I was like, what the fuck is even happening right now? When they
Because
switch
wasn't
souls.
Casey was trying to kill Len.
Yeah, so she could kill herself. But that whole section was so messy, and I was like, how the fuck is this happening? There was no explanation really of how that is even possible or how that would work. Like, I don't know, the ending just totally fell apart for me. And then with the whole like Tom being this like super cringy villain, like coming over to the lake house and being like, like, you're right, like I was trying to poison Catherine and like now I'm here to kill you, like out of nowhere. I was like, oh,
Okay, that's
God.
why it knocked down a star, because of Tom trying to kill Casey at the end. Because I was like, okay, don't get it back.
Well, that's what I mean. So like, I guess my question for you guys would be, why is this book a 4-star book and not a 5-star book?
Because of that.
Because of the end.
Because Tom trying to kill Casey
was
it knocked
cheesy,
down a star.
right? It was so
It's
cheesy.
a rush.
But I really liked literally everything else up
Mhm.
until Tom trying to kill Casey.
Same. And the reason why you don't like it, I mean, all your predictions were correct, but then you were proven on other ones
Mhm.
that I don't know how their rating goes along with that. You know, I mean, because it sounds like there was some good things that, you know. But I know I liked all the twists. But that one where it was, he goes, "You killed me," or whatever. He was like, "Oh,
that was a moment.
yeah."
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, "You didn't know I said C," and she thought he meant C, but it was really C.
She's
for
like, "I'm
Casey.
fine, C,"
Mhm.
but then it was like, "I'm fine."
I'm like, what?
C, like
Oh,
her
shit.
nickname.
I just loved like how like, okay, so like you guys say it was slow paced, but I felt like it was fast paced, because I loved when she would like watch their house every night.
Oh,
She
yeah.
would get it like things. She would pick up on things. Then she went into their house, snooped their
That
house,
was intense.
and then Boone was coming and Tom was
Mm.
coming, and it was intense. And then you find out about Boone and his wife, and she committed suicide.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, that
by
was
the
a
way,
hard one.
I
Oh
do not
my
believe
God.
that for
Okay,
1 second.
And
I'm
then
like,
you
Boone
find out
killed his
that
wife.
Boone and Catherine were like having a thing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, yeah.
And holy shit, like it just kept moving.
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't
the
know.
romance,
Like,
the
I don't know what you guys
romance,
are talking about.
the romance with Boone was one of my biggest issues with this book, because there is no way, like, this woman is staying by herself at
Okay,
this lake
but
house.
they both. Okay, I know you
and
need.
he
You
comes
need to,
up to her. He's like, "You're all alone out here." Like, ugh, creeper.
Yeah.
Okay,
Red
that
flag,
was
don't
totally
even
creepy.
fucking- ugh.
But in a way, they can relate to each other because they're both widows. Okay,
But she didn't know that
that's
about
just
him
the way
until the
it is.
end.
Like,
She didn't know about that
Period.
till towards the little later on.
yeah.
And then so with the cop too, what's her name? Wilma? What's her name?
Mm-hmm.
She posed a lot of the big part of it in the beginning and stuff, and the part where she lets them both get away
Yeah.
with
I don't
stuff
know.
was kind of.
I mean, yeah, because Wilma at the end, her name Wendy or Wilma?
Yeah. I don't know.
The detective, right?
Yeah.
Because she covered up Len killing all those girls at the end, it makes you think about Boone. Like,
Mhm.
did she help him cover it up?
Mhm.
Not sure.
And she was
But she
was
also
always-
cares about the person, more than the law. So, like, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, there was just a something not right with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I really loved, like, dude, was it just me or were you guys shipping Casey and Catherine?
You know,
Because
period.
their little, like, when she saved her, I was like,
Yeah, I'm thinking, does she have like a
whirlwind
thing?
romance,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, I was thinking
Mhm.
that too for a minute.
I think that's why I liked the book so much, and I was rooting for Casey to find Catherine because I was like,
Yeah.
she needs her.
well,
They love each other.
They had an instant connection. You know, when you save
Like,
somebody's
come
life.
on, it was cute. I shipped it, and I was here
Yes,
for the
yes.
book. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Well, see, I think that would have been a lot more interesting because I was not a fan of Boone, and I don't like. I not only do I not think he was necessary
Yeah,
in
I
the
was gonna
story,
say,
I
what
feel
was
like he
he there
didn't
for?
really add anything, and then it's just another like Riley Sager where he throws in this shady guy for a romance, and it's like no, like I don't think a woman would really immediately feel comfortable with this man just like showing up, and
Yeah.
like you're alone out here or whatever. Like I don't know, but then
Okay, but then
But then
she's
the way-
also the position that she's in though. She's vulnerable and she's sad and she's drinking a lot. And they both can connect on the fact that they lost their partner, but also because she's lonely. They're
Yeah.
both lonely.
There were so many times
Like,
where
They're on
yeah,
a lake
Yeah,
and they're lonely. Of course, they're gonna at least
and the
talk.
lake is desolate.
And she definitely did have her walls up. She fucking told him to back the fuck up like 8 million times. So
Yeah.
I
She did-
appreciate her.
He was in AA. He couldn't drink anymore, so it was not somebody she wanted to hang around.
And he always did have her best interest in mind.
yeah,
But also, do you guys genuinely think that Boone didn't kill his wife? because I personally think there's no way in hell. He's like, she burned the suicide note because she didn't want her family to know. Like, yeah, right, bitch. Yeah, fucking right.
That's why you write a suicide note.
I'm like, no, I know, like literally, Boone's wife kills herself by throwing herself down a flight of stairs. Like, I'm sorry, what? And then he said she left a suicide note, but did he burn it or did she burn it? Like, he said somebody burned it because he didn't want her family to find out.
Wilma and him decided together to burn it.
Absolutely
and they're both
not.
cops.
No, what? Yeah, I'm like, he would immediately get accused,
especially
like,
if he's not guilty. Then
yeah,
why,
like he's definitely.
I
guilty.
definitely can agree with that, but I don't think that's the plot of the book.
I mean, it's not, but like,
So
I just don't trust him at all. Like, huh?
And then why is Eli even in the book?
Yeah, Eli was another.
I think the distraction.
I feel he was in there so that you had a distraction of like, who could it be?
But did
like,
he
whatever.
see Tom?
Well, he was looking out for Casey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he was close to her mom. So.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, because she went there when she was a kid. She went there. You know, that's a family.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot.
I think he.
Probably.
You know,
the
I was
detective
thinking.
like,
I
need
did
to cover
think
this
that.
shit up. So
I was thinking that too. Absolutely, because why would she go to that length? You know, 2 cops.
That's what I mean. It's a very suspicious way to kill yourself by throwing yourself down a flight of stairs. Like, what? Like, that is
and
not.
It's not like you're going to
common.
actually kill yourself. You never know. Could be a whoops. Well, she's alive.
So she was pushed. End of discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree that Boone was just, I don't know. He just wasn't a necessary part of the book for me. What was another thing that I wanted to talk about?
I think they just distract you with that, but you know, the fact that
were you at all surprised by the whole plot of like Tom was secretly poisoning Catherine? Like, did any of that surprise you, or were you like, oh yeah?
I had a feeling because, but I was trying to think of why Catherine was from the very beginning drowning, and then how she was actually like, dead, but then she went after her anyway, you know, and brought her back, and then she came alive or something. That part was like, okay, I'm trying to figure out where that's going.
I think
and what can make that happen.
I just think like he wasn't gonna do that with Tom just because of all the other plot twists. I thought that, you know, that's what he wanted you to think. But then he steered clear of it and did these other plot twists. But I mean, I never trusted Tom. Tom's a fucking weirdo, so that makes sense. And he wants her money. So
yeah, and that said that before too. I just felt bad because all this really started around the girls, and then it kind of just, you know, at the end it did. But I mean, I don't know. It actually did work out good because they did cement all the details.
Oh, that's actually so interesting. A spin-off book where we learn that Wilma and Boone conspired to kill his wife and are going to kill Casey for her money. That would be interesting. Sequel. Call up Riley Sager. Doo-doo-doo. I got ideas.
Yeah, he's not going to sequel.
Yeah, that was another thing about the end of this book is like how quickly she got over her alcoholism.
Yeah.
Because
that's
it was
not
like,
easy to do.
I know, and it was like as soon as she thought that they had gotten rid of Boone like forever or whatever, it was like because of, I don't know, like was it because of her guilt over like the whole situation with him that she turned to alcohol in the first place? But then as soon as he was like gone, she was like, I'm 10 weeks sober, you know, all of a sudden.
Yeah,
so it was kind of like, okay.
And it jumped, and then they're actually together. Boone and her. I thought that was a little rushed.
Yeah. I know, how small is this lake? How are we seeing all this stuff? I know I kept trying to imagine like how far like the house would be. I mean, she did need binoculars though to like see Sorry, Tank is entering the room.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, but the suspense for me was those binoculars, you know. And then there was that one time where Catherine said she had binoculars, and he didn't know it, and she was with the bird watching club, and husband doesn't know that. It's like, okay, so I felt like there's leading and suspicion in a whole different direction, but then just the whole thought about it, she could see every detail.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I want those binoculars. In fact, I went on Amazon and started looking up, okay, how's that, but
yeah, I feel like I don't know, like part of my issue too with this book was just the alcoholism that's used as a plot device to make her an unreliable narrator so we wouldn't know about Len. And I kind of agree, like, just because there's so many thrillers where you read about an unreliable narrator that's unreliable because they're either, they're an alcoholic or they have drug-related problems. And, like, I'm just so tired of reading about the protagonist who we can't trust her point of view because she's an alcoholic or because she's just, like, drink after drink after drink. And then she's like, did I remember that wrong? Was I drunk? Like, it's just kind of exhausting. Like, I'm just kind of done with this trope in thrillers because I see it so often. And I just wish there was another way to make a main character a little bit unreliable without it having to be like she's an alcoholic and,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't ever think that. See, that's what I'm saying. You, as an, reader.
Yeah, but alcohol is like such like a big part of coping mechanisms. So how can you not have it in the story?
I mean, it's realistic. It's just, it's like I just see it so often. And the
But
same
I feel
with,
like it wasn't even deceiving her though, because the things that she was seeing were right.
I know, but people didn't think she was trustworthy. Like the cops couldn't trust her because she was an alcoholic, and like that was just like a known thing.
Yeah. It's perception.
It's just like the police couldn't trust her point of view or her opinion because they were like, well, she was just drunk, So it's like, and that too, like it was so much like the woman in the window at first, and like that's another trope that's like the spying on the neighbors trope. It's really, really overdone at this point, I think. And this one just wasn't one of my favorites of the like spying on the neighbors tropes that I've seen. So I don't know.
Differences of opinion, which makes the whole idea of having a book club. You want to have your opinions known. There's so many people here. It's so nice.
I love how the first time she spies on Tommy has tons of murder equipment, zip ties, rope, plastic bag, all just displayed there. I know. Did anybody else think it was weird too how I took note of it where there was one time where the detective girl Wilma was like helping them, well, not like helping them, but she knew that, or they had suspected Tom did something to Catherine, right? And so it was like our main character Casey and Boone, she like told them, like she was like, well, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but we suspect that Tom might be a serial killer because tons of young girls have gone missing over the years. And I'm like, wait a hot second, like why would this detective be telling like Casey and Boone? And especially if Boone was like, he used to be a cop and then he was discharged because of
there's
whatever. Like, he's obviously like, I don't think you could just trust him with that kind of information. But I thought that was so strange. Like, did you not? When she just told them, like, because she discovered an article when she broke into their house, when she broke into Tom's house, she discovered the article that said man admits to slowly killing his wife. And they find out he was drugging her a little bit at a time. And then the detective is like, yeah, well, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but we are suspecting that Tom is a serial killer. So she's basically telling them to back off because the cops are trying to handle it. But I'm like, why would you just say, like, we suspect him to be a serial killer? Like, no way, dude.
Not good cops.
Like, huh? I was so shocked by that. I was like, there's no way a cop would just, like, share this information with, like, civilians.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think she would care more about people than the law.
Yeah.
I just think she did. Like,
obviously,
because of course she's saying like, don't fuck with Tom. I think he might be a serial killer. Blah blah blah. And Casey's like, bitch, it was my husband.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's I mean, there had to be something with Wilma and Boone for her to cover up that much. I mean, it never really said. I don't think.
I was curious too. Did you enjoy the fact that this book was all told from Casey's point of view, or do you think this book could have been improved on with like another point of view happening, like
different chapters for different people?
If there was another point of view, who would you want the point of view of?
Catherine. Yeah.
Because see, like, how would that work? Because wouldn't it trick you if you were getting Catherine's point of view, but it was actually Len's?
Okay, that's twist.
That's what I mean. That would have been that would have warped my brain around.
Then I'd be going, what?
because then you would go back and like reread those chapters after knowing that it's
Yeah.
Len and being
Yeah.
like, oh.
But I do think it would still be. I think it's still fine with just Casey, but Catherine would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Well, because I think part of what made the book so unenjoyable
Because that
for
would
me was
expose
being in
Len.
Casey's head for so long and just, you know, hearing her like mention bourbon like 50 million times. Like,
Right.
I feel like it could have been a nice break, like getting out of her head
That's
and
true.
having another point of view. But at the same time, I don't know if it was necessary for like what this story was.
Well, isn't a lot of his books like that?
Oh, okay, there is. I heard there was a bonus chapter in the Barnes & Noble edition. Apparently it's Catherine's point of view. That's interesting. To see, yeah, I would have liked to see something of Catherine's point of view.
Everyone's gonna rush over to
Ooh,
Barnes and Noble.
Boone's point of view would have been interesting. Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna include Boone, like
Give
if
him
he's
more
in the story,
substance.
you know, like yeah, like give him more of a backstory or something. So that's interesting. Yeah, I do think Len's point of view as like Catherine's point of view would have been interesting. You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would really bring out some other questionable like what?
I know. I'm curious if anybody did read the bonus chapter. Can you tell me more about it? Like, is the bonus chapter? It's in Catherine's point of view, but like, okay, so it's somebody said the bonus chapter is Catherine's point of view during her getting possessed. Okay, that's cool. Because I'm like, what is the bonus chapter about? Like, I would want to know. Like, is it like after the story's over? Like, so it's like when she's getting possessed.
And the part that was where he said at the end, he goes, "You told me a lot about, you know, whatever it was," and so when he held her captive, you know, and it's like, well, what was that conversation? Because that they didn't really get into that.
Okay, it's her point of view throughout the whole story, like little snippets.
That's perfect.
Okay.
So why does only Barnes and Noble get that?
It's like an exclusive, like special edition, so you can buy it at Barnes and Noble.
Probably going to be out of stock when you run over there.
It's interesting, just her realizing that she's possessed. How terrifying for her. Anyways,
I thought she was being drugged.
I mean, she was
really, yeah,
kind of.
They have to get drugged and possessed.
Ooh,
Oh, that's so true too about like the rules of this lake. I want to know, I want to know more like history, I guess, about this lake. Like, how does that work exactly? Yeah, like, do you get possessed upon death, or does possession take long? Why did Len possess Tom so fast at the end? I know, like, I feel like I wanted to know more too about like the rules of like how this works.
Yeah,
or like
I thought it was interesting, and it's something to do with that looking at the shadow in your shadow in the lake when you were talking about that first time. But then the girls.
Well, you can only get possessed if they get killed in the lake, right? That's why the souls of the girls wasn't in there, because they got killed outside of the lake and it's dumped.
Because Len died in the lake because she drowned him in the lake, and so that's why his soul was like trapped there. Yeah.
Because I was thinking like, why aren't the souls of the victims? But then I realized it's because they got killed outside of the lake. They just got dumped there.
That is interesting.
Very good.
That's what I mean. I don't know if he put too much thought into like the rules of how this would work, because I want to know more about that. I know, and that too, it alluded to Catherine fighting the possession. Maybe Catherine had more mental fortitude. I know, like, that was a little bit confusing for me too at the end. Like, just the whole thing at the end just was so like, with like the possession, like once it like somehow transferred from Catherine to her, and then she was trying to kill herself by like jumping in the lake and like drowning herself at the end. And then like what even happened, like Boone like saved her or something, right?
Do they have that in the book at Barnes and Noble?
Like, if I remember correctly, I think she tried to drown herself when Len was possessing her body.
Because they did talk about it, but it was so like rushed over because other things were happening. So yeah, they did say something about that.
That's what I mean. The ending just really fell apart for me, because I was like, okay, wait, so Len is like now in her, she's trying to drown herself, and then Boone comes and like saves her at like the last second or something when Len has like left and he's like back in the lake or something.
She told Eli. She told Eli like she had to end it or something.
Yeah, it was just a whole, like, the ending was just very messy in my opinion. Hard to follow. I know, is Len the only person to get drowned in the lake? I know, like, I don't know, because there's got to be, if there's like talk of in the town of this lake, there has to be other like souls there, right?
weren't they always talking about girls and people? I don't know. Because one of the things said people just don't know how to swim.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like they're drowning and they live at the lake or they whatever. You know, it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
That's what I mean. Tom had perfect timing at the end. He just like showed up like right when he knew she was like.
Oh, that
figuring things out.
$5,000 wine bottle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was worth every penny.
Yeah. Anyways, I guess my like last question for this live show is, if you had to compare this book to like another book that you've seen or another movie or TV show, what would it be? And I would like to steer clear of any spoilers for other things because I've seen that everyone is comparing this book to a certain book, and I'm like, but if you're comparing this spoiler, like the plot twist in this book to the plot twist of another book, then I don't want to spoil the plot twist of any other books, but just vibes. Like say, for example, The Woman in the Window is, it kind of reminds me of like, she's spying on the neighbors, like that kind of thing. And so if you had any other things, like, do you have any other things you would compare this to? Like, does it remind you of anything?
No.
I'm not.
I mean, I guess Haunting of Bly Manor a little bit with the lake, but
I can see that. Yeah. This is what I was afraid of. Like, people are posting in the comments like books that I think it kind of spoils you to know that those things. Okay, yeah, the movie Rear Window. I would definitely think that this book was probably inspired by Rear Window because he also mentions Rear Window 3 times in this book. I took note of it every time because I was like, I know that Riley Sager's always talking about how Rear Window is a huge inspiration of his, and it's kind of like the OG, spying on the neighbors kind of thing. So,
and those binoculars are trippy.
So that's interesting. Yeah, I think the girl on the train a little bit probably because of the unreliable narrator.
That's interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, like it's like a Rear Window but with supernatural elements. Interesting. Yeah, sorry. I'm not going to flash all the comments on the screen because I feel like some of them are a little bit spoilery and I don't want to give away anything about some of these other books being mentioned. I know this is a hard one. Like, I feel like I almost maybe shouldn't even ask that question because I don't want to spoil other things for people. But it's just something I ask at every live show.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I guess my final question for you both would be, what do you want to see Riley Sager do next? Or, like, what do you hope to see him do in the future? Like, do you think you want to see him do more kind of, like, supernatural twist kind of stuff like this in the future? Or are you hoping he does more, like, I don't know, like, stuff that's kind of more, like, similar to, like, Lock Every Door or Home Before Dark, where it's, like, teetering the edge more? Or, like, what do you want from him in the future?
I like paranormal thriller. I just think it's scarier.
To me, I wouldn't know how to build on paranormal, so I don't watch like.
Well, I do think it's hard to change the story up as much with paranormal. I do think it's just
mix them
creepy. Like, it's good. The elements of paranormal are just like the vibes are way better to read in my.
So you want paranormal like this or like Home Before Dark?
Like Home Before Dark.
Yeah.
Okay.
If that's
interesting,
that would be one.
And I did like how in Home Before Dark, I think it read better where the chapters go back and forth. But I do feel like this one did it good too because I don't know if y'all remember, but those like little chapters here and there, you would think you're reading Tom's point of view. You think you're reading from Boone's point of view.
Yeah.
But when you find out like Catherine's getting possessed by Len, go back and read those other ones. It's like, oh my god.
I know that's what you said too. You go and it all makes sense, kind of.
Yeah, rereading this would definitely be a different experience after knowing all the twists at the end. That's actually so interesting. A cannibal twist. That would be interesting. Kind of like a Silence of the Lambs.
That would be
That would be interesting from Riley Sager. I'm almost like curious to see what he's gonna do next, because I don't know. I feel like he's done a lot of different things, because with Final Girls he did kind of like almost like a slasher type of book, and then I feel like with The Last Time I Lied and Lock Every Door and Home Before Dark, they're more like kind of like it's the vibe of, is it paranormal or is it a thriller? Like that's kind of the vibe I get with all three of those books. And then with Survive the Night, I feel like we kind of got this like 90s thriller where it's like he really started to emphasize on that unreliable narrator trope. And then I feel like this is another one where we get an unreliable narrator, like, you know, someone spying on the neighbors. Like, I feel like he's writing pretty common thriller tropes recently, and I just want him to do some more like original stuff, kind of like, I don't know. I thought Lock Every Door and Home Before Dark were really original, even though Home Before Dark does remind me quite a bit of The Haunting of Hill House. You can definitely see the inspiration he takes from like other things, but I know, oh my gosh, what Kay said, yes, aliens, I would kill for an aliens kind of book from Sager. Like, I feel like same with like Jordan Peele recently
I was
doing
just gonna say nope.
aliens. Yeah, I'm obsessed. I need more of alien kind of stuff in my life, so
Yeah.
absolutely an alien twist would just rock my whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will take aliens over ghosts. That would just be really interesting. I can't even like, yeah, I mean, I know, do you think he'll ever write a male protagonist? Like, how would that be different? That would be interesting. That would be interesting.
There's so many.
American Horror Story. Nice.
I feel that.
All right. Well, I think that is it. Do you guys have any final thoughts? Anything else you wanted to discuss? Any feelings? Any hot takes? Ooh, that is a good one, Kendall. Make it queer, Sager.
Yeah.
Except I don't know if people would like that because it's from him. But also, yes, always down to have queer characters in books. A reliable narrator. I don't want to read about him.
I think that
I love it.
Yeah, that's something that I think it should be looked into. I mean, if it's a narrator of it didn't. You can tell it's an older person, and that just throws you off. You know. So it had to be whatever. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one because this one's mixed.
So do you like books because of the predictability or because of the characters?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, there are just some things that I want in a thriller, and I feel like, especially with Riley Sager, I just have really high expectations because I consider him to be one of my top favorite thriller authors.
Yeah,
so I just go into his book with a certain expectation now, and I just feel like with this book, I don't mind unlikable characters as long as I like the plot. But with this one, I feel like why I didn't end up enjoying it is because I didn't like the characters really, and I didn't care for the plot. Like, I just thought it was really boring most of the time.
Well, they didn't really go into detail enough on the characters, I don't think. Because that's where, if they had chapters by the actual character, you would see their point of view. You'd be able to have a whole different, Well,
because like unlikable characters are like fine in a thriller for me as long as I'm invested in the plot and being like, okay, like where are we going? What are they doing? Like if they're shady, it's fine, But yeah, and also Kayla's live show for this book is tomorrow. So if you want more thoughts on this book, you can tune into her live show tomorrow.
It'd be interesting too to see all the their thoughts because it is so.
Thanks, Neon. Yeah, we're doing much better. At least much better than last week. Last week was not so pretty. Yeah,
it was. It's a very strange feeling. So I'm glad we just got like a little bit of it. I can imagine the people that really but this is into another. But yeah.
Okay, and then final question. I know you say final question. Final question for you both. What are you reading next, or are you currently reading anything, or what do you hope to check out in the future, or what did you just read that you want to
hit it, Rach? I gotta look on my TV.
I'm starting Last Time I Lied.
Last Time I Lied.
Yeah, let's see.
Like very briefly.
Yes. I'm hoping. Yeah, I think it's a perfect summer thriller for her to read. It's like campy summer vibes.
Yeah.
Good time.
I'm doing Reckless Girls.
Yes, Mom's reading Reckless Girls next.
But I had to stop because I have to remember this book. So I'll go back into it now. But the cover's so pretty. So pretty.
Yeah, it is
I'm
pretty.
looking forward to it.
I thought that would be like a really fun summer thriller time for you.
Yeah.
And so Mom did read, you read the other Rachel Hawkins. You read The Wife Upstairs.
Oh my gosh,
which was
yes.
the book you picked last year.
Did you read that one?
Yeah, we all read The Wife Upstairs.
Oh yeah, because that one's good. I really like that one.
I feel like this was super high-key depressing because I normally agree with you on everything, and I do not.
Yeah, Rachel gets really sad when
I'm
we don't
fucking
agree
sad.
on things.
Yeah.
But
I feel like this totally taints my experience.
oh well,
No,
I'm sorry.
I think
It does.
it's a learning curve for me. I
just
think
sad.
it's
It's like I want to get on the hype of either tearing the book down or you get on my hype because my hype feels tampered,
yeah.
I'm
You're
sorry.
so cute, Rachel.
I'm sorry.
and I'm depressed
I'm
because
not-
I feel like an
honey.
idiot.
I never, when I share my opinions on books, I never want to make you feel bad for enjoying something. Like honestly,
It was
reading.
boring.
Well, for me it
Yeah,
was, but that's
we were
my
both
opinion.
shocked.
I'm
We're
sitting
like,
here like
I
living
no,
my best life,
I
and you
I
said
know.
that's boring.
Yeah, well, okay, I'm so happy for you. Like, I'm genuinely so happy for you. And obviously, like, reading is gonna be different for different
These
people.
guys.
But if you enjoyed something that I didn't, I'm fucking so happy for you because I wanted to be you. Like, I'm actually jealous that you
And
enjoyed
I know
this
you were
because I
bummed
want
that
to
you
love
were
a Riley
bummed.
Sager book.
You were bummed that you were bummed.
Like, I picked
I
it for my
can't
book
believe
because I
you
wanted to
think
love
this
it.
book is shittier than Survive the Night.
It just is. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But it was fun, a good experience. It'd be nice if we read something this fall that we all liked.
I just
Or
don't get it. If you
enjoyed.
didn't predict any of the plot twists, then how
But
is
I
this boring?
did, kind of.
How is it boring? And
I
you
did
did it.
kind of.
You did it.
I did kind
You
of.
did it.
I was on to him.
So you said that Casey killed Len. You said Len possessed Catherine. You did it.
Rachel's really mad.
I'm sad.
Sorry.
It's annoying.
I'm sorry.
I love their banter.
Sorry.
There's my girls.
Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah, it was.
thanks
I
for joining
enjoyed
us.
it. Thank you.
Thank you. This
It's
was
been
fun.
a
This
minute
was
since we
chaotic.
all got to finally do this book.
Yeah, I think
You know.
I am going to continue this tradition. Hopefully, if Riley Sager does release another book next year, even though the last two have been disappointing for me. For real,
Oh,
Riley
yeah.
Sager, what are you doing? Trying to
Can
ruin
you
our
do
family.
that?
Yeah, I
That's
do
funny.
think though. I do want to.
Look at all these people agreeing with me.
Yeah, Rach, I
Yeah.
see that.
I'm not trying to ruin anybody's day. You know, like
No.
I'm not trying to.
And
trying
you're
to-
not. You're
Yeah,
not. You
Rachel
got
should
your
start her own
opinion.
book club, her own booktube. Yeah, start a booktube.
God, no.
Thank
I would just
you.
do it on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll just rant on my channel.
I think it's great, these two. They're banters, and it's so cute to see their different opinions, and they're so good at talking about it. Not shy, don't hold back. Mm-mm.
But yeah, so I think next year you can expect probably for Riley Sager to be a book troop again, even though the last two were disappointing for me. But I do have so much fun with these live shows, and I'm
Mhm,
always going
me
to be
too.
reading the next Riley Sager. So like, it's going to happen anyways. So
Yeah.
might as well be a book troop pick, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, so hopefully, one good video suggested a video on where Gabby and Rachel have different views on books.
Right?
It doesn't happen often.
Turn in the key.
Okay, yeah, Rachel hates on the Turn of the Key, and that makes me sad.
Yeah.
But see, I'm
You're-
fine about it. I'm not hurt. I'm not hurt. Like everybody has different tastes. It's fine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Peter Swanson is banned from the bathroom. Unlike Riley Sager. Riley Sager gets many chances. Peter Swanson, no, done. Period.
Yeah.
Oh, Peter.
Poor
Yeah.
Peter. And yeah, and if you haven't heard, next month, the month of August, this month,
Which is this?
we're reading Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier. And I'm very excited because I think it's going to be
Riley Sager's bestie?
really great. Yeah, it's actually one of Riley Sager's closest friends.
So he's
Jennifer
probably
Hillier,
saying,
my
"Oh gosh, we
queen."
got to take notes here, pal."
Yeah, every book that I've read from Jennifer Hillier so far has been 4 or 5 stars. So like,
No
I
pressure.
love this author, and I'm hoping for great things. So
Oh.
No
hopefully
pressure.
you can tune in later this month or early next month, whenever that live show is. So
Yeah.
Anyways, everybody's Team Rachel.
I know, Susan. So cute.
Love
Have you guys been
Anyways,
seeing The Bachelorette as Gabby and Rachel?
I know. What
Yeah.
the
And everyone's like,
fuck?
Team Gabby, Team Rachel.
Team Gabby,
Yeah.
Team Rachel on The Bachelor.
I was like, wow.
I know
It's so funny.
when they got nominated for the cast, I told the girls, "You're never gonna believe this.
I know we were
But
like,
it's gonna
huh?
be the weirdest season as Gabby and Rachel."
And that's weird because I feel like Gabby is not that common of a name. Like I never see people.
It is, though. Gabriella.
I never see.
You mean
people-
Gabriella and Troy?
I mean, yeah. Besides that, but like, huh? I was like,
I
wow,
picked
that's
good names.
that's wild. Anyways, all right. Well, we're gonna head out. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and hopefully, next month is gonna be lit for the book troop. So
I know.
thanks for
That
hanging
book
out.
troop, I think every month you're waiting because it's
Yeah.
you never know.
It's still
it's hit or miss.
My book troop
A lot
is
of
just like boom,
misses.
boom, boom
You know.
for me. So
But
love
that's
that for
fun.
me.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Love that for you.
thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.